Hey guys, welcome to the module Overcoming Seller's Objections. And I'm going to give you the top 4 reasons that I get on a daily basis and how to overcome them. Number 1, I just don't understand. Number 2, I need cash now. Number 3, the mortgage acceleration clause. And number 4, there's a tenant in the house and I just can't evict them. So I'm going to break it down for you one by one. Number 1, I don't understand. Well, this is because your sales pitch sucks and they just truly don't understand. There's no real excuse to that. This is where you messed up. Keep practicing your delivery and explaining what terms is. So the best way to explain stuff to people is you dumb it down, right? Vanilla it. I have a story personally that I call my broke down boat. So, Mr. Seller, have you ever heard the saying, the two best memorable moments is when you buy a boat and when you sell it? This boat has been sitting in my driveway for months now. My wife has been complaining she can't park it in the driveway, and it needs to go now. So, me being the good husband, I listened to her, put an ad on Facebook Marketplace for $5,000, and guess what happened? I got a bunch of "is it available" messages and no responses after that, or a bunch of lowball offers. Talk about discouraging. So my wife actually had a great idea to list it for $5,000 with a payment plan. And guess what happened? I got a flood of messages, sold it the same day. So my point being, Mr. Seller, if we could get to a payment plan on terms we could both agree to and both benefit, that's where I go with this story. So number 2 is I need cash now. This is actually a tough one. This is probably one that I can't even overcome, but there is 2 ways you can maneuver this. Number 1, ask the seller how much money they need to make this deal work. Maybe they only need a portion of the money. They don't need the whole, let's say the property's paid off, they don't need the whole kit and caboodle, right? You could just give them a percentage of it because they need it to go to Florida and make it light and a joke out of it. Like, so let me ask you this candidly. What do you need this money for? You going to run off to Florida and open up a taco stand? Joke around about it. He or she will explain to you what they're going to be doing with this money. Number 2, come up with a cash offer based on the ARV. This is a wholesaling kind of calculation. I use 75% of the ARV as the offer, but that is not why I want to give them a cash offer. I don't want to come up with cash. There's a whole idea behind creative financing to come a little out of pocket as possible. I don't want to come up with cash unless my cash on cash return is crazy, right? 15, 20% or higher. It makes sense in the underwriting. Otherwise, I don't want the property, right? My first goal is to get this property through creative financing. Then I'll explore other opportunities like conventional financing and cash, right? But it's got to be definitely worth it for me to even take that next step. Number 3, mortgage acceleration clause, aka due on sale. Now, there's only really 4 ways mortgage company will accelerate it. That's basically transferring the property or the deed without authorization, filing bankruptcy, creating an unlivable condition where it's inhabitable, no homeowner's insurance, and missing mortgage payments. When does that really happen? When you transfer a deed, there's not a trick to it. The mortgage companies really won't know unless somebody will actually tell them, or for some reason or another, they do a deeds title search and they see that it's been transferred. So what we do is we actually take that deed and put it into a land trust. This will make it look like it's for asset protection or for estate planning, more or less. Will that happen in my career? Absolutely. It's not a matter if, it's when. You just got to be prepared for it with exit strategies, and that's in another video. But this is one of the objections you get: mortgage acceleration clause. An acceleration clause is a contract provision that allows a lender to require a buyer to repay all of its outstanding loan requirements, right? This can't happen on a subject to mortgage sale. So again, we take the deed from the seller, we put it into a trust, we name it XYZ Trust. We continue to make the mortgage payments directly with that mortgage company. They walk away, the seller walks away, and that's in negotiation how much we're going to give them to walk away. Normally, that'll happen if it's a no equity situation or a negative equity situation. That a sub-2 deal is actually happens. It's very, very rare that it'll be called out. So far, I've never been called out. I'm sure if this video goes viral, I'm going to get called out. Be prepared. A couple things you could do. And again, another video, but I'll just lightly touch on it. You could sell the property, give it back to the other seller, you could refinance it, or you could pay it off. Those are your options. So how to overcome this objection? Educate the seller on the risks and let them know it's super rare. If they still are not comfortable, have your attorney hold a deed with the intention to give it back to the seller if this actually happens. Now, there's a lot of companies out there that claim they can insure a subject to mortgage clause, due on sale clause. I think it's a scam. I could be wrong, but from everything out of the research I've done, you're going to pay them a percentage of the sale and they hold it 99.9% of the time. That due on sale clause doesn't happen. And that's probably the best business model I've ever heard is basically they're hedging their bets. And if they get enough money to cover one of the notes, they'll refinance it themselves. So I really wouldn't believe all that. I have done one deal where the seller was comfortable if the attorney held the deal, held the deed for an X amount of time, and that actually sealed the deal. Okay, number 4, there's a tenant in the house and I can't evict them. This is an emotional one, right? There's a reason why these people have pain. It's probably because their tenant hasn't been paying, especially during COVID. I've seen this a lot. This is a real problem that actually I love it because you're helping these people out, number one. And two, these people are taking advantage usually of older people. So the true pain of the seller is we're going to ease their pain by a couple different tactics here. So number one, I go and I try and reason with them, right? This isn't 1950. I'm not going to go up to the door with a bat and threaten people. I'm going to reason with them. Listen, I just purchased a property. I'm going to blatantly lie to them and say, I purchased property for my family and kids. It's a good school district. We're going to move in at this X amount of time. Do you mind leaving? If that doesn't happen, I'm going to try, like I said, I'm going to try and relocate them as well the best I can if I have another property. But if they're not paying, I don't really want them as a tenant. So I'm going to try and relocate them to another place that it's going to be benefiting us, right? That doesn't work. Next steps, I'll go cash for keys. I'll literally walk up to their door with a wad full of cash and go, listen, I'm moving in with my family, same spiel, moving in with my family. And, we're coming here for the good school district. Listen, I'll buy you out of your lease. I got $2,000 here. Is this going to work? Number 3, I'll set aside money in the budget for an eviction, right? I already have attorneys lined up. This is what we do for a living. We know we're going to do evictions. It just, COVID was a little more difficult. Some people sat 1-2 years on a property. But if you go in with the intention that you're going to have to basically give cash for keys for this person or file leave for the eviction and they potentially can damage the property, you gotta be real with that, right? You can't go in with the intention of thinking you could not have to spend any money with this. That's not how it works. So that concludes the short video on how to overcome the 4 objections. We'll probably have many, many conversations about this topic because there's always something new, but this is very reoccurring. You're gonna see the pattern with the objections coming. The better you become good at this and they slip off your tongue, the better you can become at closing these people. So I'll see you in the next video.